You know what's scary? In a recent poll, according to the Huffington Post, 34% of Americans are in favor of establishing Christianity as the official state religion in their state. Do you see how dangerously close America is becoming a theocracy like Iran? A theocracy is a government ruled by or subject to religious authority. This is insane. Every time I turn around, there's another assault on the separation of church and state. In God we trust on our money. One nation under God in our pledge. The constant attempts to have creationism taught in public schools.
I want to see a child in every public school in America who is trained as a witness for Jesus Christ.
The repeated attempts to create laws against gay marriage and abortion based on the Bible. The ridiculous claims that evolution is just a theory. The attack on those who want to respect all religions by saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. The many displays of the Ten Commandments or nativity scenes in courthouses and on public property. Politicians saying God bless America after every speech. These are all attempts to make America a theocracy. Oh, what's the harm, right? Most people are Christians anyway, right? The Founding Fathers were Christians, right? Well, no. Even if every American believed in Jesus Christ, that still wouldn't be justification for a theocracy. Most of our Founding Fathers were deists, not Christians. Imagine if Christianity became the law of the land. We'd be stoning unruly children to death and giving the death penalty to those who worked on the Sabbath. Picture this. A convicted rapist stands before a judge to be sentenced. The judge opens the Bible and reads Deuteronomy 22:28 through 29. Quote, "If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives." Unquote. Then he orders the rapist to pay the father 50 ounces of silver and then sets a wedding date with the instructions that a divorce will never be allowed. Is that the kind of country you want to live in? Is that what you want America to become? Think about this. This is the 21st century. We as a nation need to embrace science, not theology. Sure, I respect the Constitution and the freedom of religion. I'm not saying you can't believe what you want. Sure, go pray at home, at church, or even silently in school. Nobody's stopping you. Yet, according to Kevin Fitzgerald of the Knights of Columbus Council 11091 in Ohio, quote, "There are many examples of people trying to take Christianity and Christmas out of our daily lives." He expressed a concern for atheists attempting to remove the Ten Commandments from public courthouses.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a certain segment of society that would like to remove "In God We Trust" from our money, and taking the Ten Commandments out of courthouses.
Yet he expressed no concern for the separation of church and state. His excuse was that 50 years ago there would be a nativity scene in every town square, as if getting away with it then made it perfectly legal and constitutional. During the 1950s, Americans were overly frightened by the expansion of communism. Since the dictators of communist countries removed religion in order to gain better power over the people, Americans tried to do the opposite by embracing religion. During McCarthyism, "In God We Trust" was added to our money, and "Under God" was added to the Pledge of Allegiance. Those things were never originally there before. Because of the fear of communism, we made a giant step towards a theocracy. The Knights of Columbus are selling magnets that say, "Keep Christ in Christmas," as if there was some kind of war on Christmas. These magnets are another tool to bring America closer to a theocracy. Imaginary attacks on Christianity are not productive. Support for the separation of church and state is not a war on religion. As we go further into the 21st century, we as a nation have an opportunity to become an even greater nation than we already are. We can support the Constitution's freedom of religion, at the same time uphold the separation of church and state. There is room for both. If 34% of our citizens actually support us becoming a theocracy, They should look closely at other countries like Iran and see how well that's working out for them.
When we go into a public school, we have to leave God at the door. It just came to the point where I couldn't do that anymore.